Let's take it as true. I don't know how true it is. I don't know how often it happens, but let's take it as true that there have been issues with illegal immigrants that have caused, like, some of those lads have caused a bit of a problem. Let's say that's true. I don't know how true those stories are, whether the media hypes those up, but let's imagine that it has happened.
Mm.
Does that mean that you want to burn them all in their beds in a hotel? Like just set fire to a hotel? That sounds insane, right? That's an insane thing to do.
Yeah. But I look at it this way. There's a step before that.
Yeah.
Because that's, to me, I'm sat there thinking, that's the purpose that was the predicted outcome.
Okay.
So there's a saying, right? Glass jar, half full of red ants and half full with black ants. You put them in the jar. You set the jar down on the side, and both red ants and black ants live happily ever after. Until you pick the jar up and shake the jar aggressively, and you put the jar back down and watch them fight. One species will eradicate the other very quickly. So the question's not which one's the bad ant. The question is, who shook the glass?
Yeah.
So the rioting that we're talking about, the burning hotels, what we're actually saying is, what are we being told for that to happen? Because the people doing the burning probably haven't got a clue about numbers.
Mm-hmm.
They're just reacting.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say, well, that's inevitable. If you poke the bear, it's inevitable that he'll bite you. If you poke a dog, it'll bark. If you poke it again, it'll defend itself. It'll bite you.
Yeah.
So if you know how to provoke idiots, they're going to react. Did anybody genuinely think that creating a scenario that, has just happened? We've had a series of scenarios that have been in the public eye, promoted by the BBC, promoted by the ITV. Did anybody think that was just going to get left unnoticed? Or would it actually put there purposely so that people react to it? Because unfortunately there are crime happening of similar nature day in, day out that doesn't get reported.
Mm-hmm.
Now, one thing that's interesting, I've not seen or heard of any parent talk about my child who was, on the receiving end of that horrible attack, was a loving, caring, whatever. And there's nothing in the media to suggest that that was true. I'm not saying it's not, but what I'm saying is, just because we're told one thing, does it mean that it's true? Was something put there purposely? Because how can...
But why? For what? To what end? Why would somebody want to start?
Well, okay, so how has Keir Starmer got in power? Less than, was it 20% of votes? Less than 20% of votes. And he's in power. Now, there's a petition out there today on change.org to remove him from power. It's got over 100,000 signatures on it.
And put who there instead?
I don't think there's a question of put who there. It was a case of just remove that person from power. There's a lot of decisions that are happening that the people, don't agree with.
What decisions that he's made? He's been there 5 minutes.
Yeah, but he's made 8 very powerful decisions.
Like what?
And he's also gone back on his word. Well, I think what the public are now, distressed about is Labour had to make cuts because the budgets were destroyed, And one of the cuts were pensioners today who have no guilt in how budgets are spent. They are British citizens that have been taxpayers for 60 plus years. Pensioners today are going to lose their winter allowance. That's gone, scrapped. Many millions scrapped. So the budget has gone elsewhere. right? It's been reallocated. Yet these riots happen, and £28.4 million has just appeared out of nowhere, and it's going to go to contribute towards rebuilding mosques. That's a big sticking point of the riots. Elon Musk also picked up, and he's targeted Keir Starmer and said, this is on X, Keir Starmer, instead of saying, we will protect Muslims, why not protect all communities?
Mm.
So when you look at that narrative, you sit there and think, Elon Musk has a point there. Why is Keir Starmer protecting one community? Why does that community need protecting?
It's only...
Unless you are not provoking it.
It's only... I mean, is he not just saying that because that's the community that's under attack? Because didn't he 5 minutes ago say the same thing about the Jewish community?
Yeah, so this is what I find interesting. I don't think any community is under attack. How can a community be under attack? What's provoked this was immigration, illegal immigration.
Yeah.
That's not a community.
That's true.
So who's brought into a community? Who said this? I speak to a lot of people from different backgrounds.
Yeah.
And everybody who I speak to is saying the same thing. It's not about the colour of someone's skin. It's not about their religious background.
Well, it's not.
This is people.
It's not to you, and it's not to the people that have an actual political concern or complaint about the immigration thing. But the people that are being attacked, the places that are being attacked, are Muslim communities. Right?
So let's go back to the beginning. I think that is relevant today, which is a valid point. But I don't think that's where it started.
Well, I don't think that's where it started either.
Yeah, so
I
go
think-
back to the
I
ant.
think-
Go back to the ant scenario.
I think if you're winding up, because the thing is that what people don't understand is, like, you've got the cost of living crisis,
Yeah.
right? You've got the fact that food banks are up in their usage by 450% or something insane like that. You've got the fact that you've now got no legal aid for a welfare benefits complaint. So if somebody's out there trying to get benefits and the benefit system makes a mistake, it takes them, something like 16 weeks or something crazy before they can get their benefits back.
Yeah.
So the penalty is if you're not trying to get a job, if you mess about on your job interviews or whatever, 16 weeks penalty. That seems like a good thing to do. It seems like sensible. People should be trying to get work, this, that, and the other. Trouble is that if they make a mistake, you also get 16 weeks. And then it's, 11 months until you get a tribunal, and they go, oh, sorry about that. We made a mistake. Happens all the time. I used to work in that area.
Yeah.
Right? It used to happen all the time. Well, that community, remember, 87% of this country is white.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So as much as the media would like to say, oh, it's, all of the poor people just happen to be Asian, I'm like, no, it's not true. The majority of this country is white. So the majority of the people that are being hurt by these policies are white. Now, if you're doing all of this to those communities, because it's the poor communities, it's not a colour thing. The poor communities are the ones that are being hurt by all of this. The cost of living crisis hurts them the most.
Yeah.
Right. You add to that the fact that if they try to complain or whatever, it's just a nightmare. Like trying to understand or implement the benefit system is a nightmare, right? On top of that, you've got whatever the hell's happening with the water companies. And you're like, what? We're going to get dysentery in the UK. What, we can't drink the tap water anymore. The corporations are allowed to do this, rip off millions and billions out of the company, and then just dump us with this water with human excrement in it. Like, and then you've got the education system where they can just do whatever they want, teach whatever they want, and there's nobody can do it, and people are confused, and they've got no one to talk to about it. And then you've got the immigration issue, which is on top of it, where for whatever, rightly or wrongly or whatever, like you've got boats coming in, you've got people coming in, and there is a real sweet thing about people turn up, and it's illegal. The way you've come into this country is illegal, and they say, yeah, but we're fleeing a nightmare. And they're like, you know, you got a point. Let's process that. Let's figure it all out, right? So you have these processing centers, which are like jumped up prisons, nightmares. But anyway, but the idea, the concept, it's quite beautiful, right? Right? But there's obviously a problem, right? Because that's just getting more and more and more in the process. Doesn't seem to be very much on the processing side of things. So you're not just importing a poor class of people. You're importing people that come from war-torn zones or whatever, right? Economic migrants, also fine, right?
Yeah.
Because you tie yourself to the bottom of a truck or get on a rubber dinghy and float here from God knows where. Mate, they should make a movie about you.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
True,
They should
yeah.
make... they're all guys. They're all guys of working age. You're like, yeah.
I
Let's
don't
make
know.
it. Should we make a movie about all of those bastards then? Because that seems nuts, right?
Courage.
Unbelievable, right? And loads of them die at sea. This, that, and the other. Doesn't matter. We do it, right? So that part seems amazing. Okay, now you get these people that come in the country. Well, I don't know. They can't work. They can't go to school, right? Keep them there for a couple of months. After a while, they're going to get desperate, right? Because they want to live. You're like, here you go. Here's a Tesco voucher. You can get yourself some trainers and some bread, and you're like, right. So now here's a bunch of people. Some of them are going to turn to crime, right? Go on any council estate, right? Not everybody that lives on a council estate is the same. Some of them are going to turn to crime now. Do you know what I mean? And it's going to be a larger percentage than people that live in the middle class areas because they're more desperate.
Yeah.
Well, now there's another level below the normal out of work council estate crew, the illegal immigrants. Well, they're even more desperate. And guess what? They're not your normal poor people. They got PTSD. They've come from war. They've got a completely different look in their eye. They've got that 1,000-yard stare, and you're like, that geezer's terrifying. Isn't he terrifying? What the fuck is that? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that you've got that problem. Now you've got the issue of, well, now they're staying at hotels. Well, guess who else stays at hotels? Tradesmen. Guess what they've got? Vans with stuff in it. Well,
Targets.
now you've got a desperate guy that wants a bit of cash. Well, he's going to break into that van, isn't he? Now you've got a tradesman that's upset. Well, now you've got a bunch of tradesmen that are upset. And they were also upset about all the other stuff as well. So now this is a boiling point. We're talking about a boiling point here, right? I thought we'd just done Brexit. I thought we just got our jobs back. Right? And so you can see where the frustration is coming from.
Yeah, of course, but there's also the mass population today of that generic statement is also a large age gap. So you can only control it today off the birth rate. So when you look at the birth rate in the country today, the stats go that if a child born in 2024 today, within 40 years, that child born in the UK will be a minority in the UK in 40 years' time. Now, that is a scary thought.
Is it?
To a Brit.
Why?
Not saying me, I'm saying that is the
Wait.
scariest thought to a Brit.
I can see that. I
Yeah.
can see it. But
So
I can't quite, like, if I'm put my fairness hat on, I'm like, if everyone was everyone and nobody minded and everything was everything, like, what difference does it make? If we're all one big family, what's the point then?
So the
That's
point,
what I don't quite get. I don't quite get it. I get it. Obviously, from the one hand, I'm like, yeah, bang out of order. What are you talking about?
No, but when you look
But
at it,
at the
right,
same time, I'm like, what?
we're in 2024, right?
Yeah,
If we zoom right out
yeah,
and we try and look at a world in
yeah.
3034,
Yeah.
right? So we've gone a hell of a long way.
And it's culturally shifted.
Yeah.
But here's the problem with that statistic. That statistic doesn't care about Italians. It doesn't care about the Spanish. It doesn't really care about the Portuguese. It doesn't care about the Irish or the Scottish. It cares about anyone that's brown. That statistic cares about anyone that's brown. It doesn't
But from
mind.
who?
Hey?
From who?
What do you mean?
Who says that?
What do you mean?
Well, who says that statement? So right now, the Olympics are on.
Yeah.
Right. I've seen several memes going around, and the irony is unreal. There was a table tennis gold medal awarded to a country Now, traditionally, which country would that have most obviously been? If you know table tennis.
Did you say there was a Chinese person?
Okay, so Chinese is correct. Chinese are notoriously known for being
Really good.
absolute weapons at table tennis.
Yeah.
Extremely difficult to beat. You know, they're superhuman.
Mm.
They are amazing table tennis players.
Yeah.
So China normally win that event in the Olympics. Who do you think won the event this year in Paris 2024?
I don't know.
It was the Americans. So American team won the gold.
Good for them.
What was the ethnicity of the participant?
Little Chinese fella.
Chinese. So it was a American-born Chinese person. Now I think that's great. Right? There's no issue with that. It's fantastic.
Mm.
So hence, zooming right out, irrelevant to where you're born, you're going to have a heritage. Now, there's no problem with that. I don't see a problem with it. The issue is the thought, because you feel like you're being erased. And that's where a lot of, whoa, what's going on? So when I remember like 15, 20 years ago, maybe 15, when Polish would come over from Poland into UK and the rumour was they would take our jobs. They weren't taking our jobs. They were taking jobs that others didn't want to do, and they were work harder at it, more efficient at it, and they were great. Mm-hmm. But yet the initial fear was they're taking our jobs. So there's no difference in today. Yes, people are entering each country, and what's quite interesting is Brits, born English people, are actually emigrating to other countries. Mm-hmm. So where you've got a dilute of one, you've got a dilute of somewhere else, and that's the modern world today. So people are moving here, there, and everywhere. So I don't see a big issue overall, as long as an identity isn't removed.
What does that mean?
Well, there's an identity of...
What do you care?
Of...
What do I care about the identity of a country?
No, so... So who's dictating that?
Because you've got your little family.
Yeah.
You'll have kids. Your kids will have kids. Don't you? Isn't that it? Isn't that your... What do you care about anything else? What do I care? I don't know. I can't work it out. Like, there's a fear that I could be erased. Well, I'm here. They're not coming out and deleting me, are they?
No.
They're not going to delete my kids, are they? Well, what's the problem?
So why is it that this... Don't you think there's a bigger message?
What do you mean?
It's fair to say that crime happens everywhere in the world, no matter what. Mm-hmm. And it's fair to say that people are on the receiving end of crime, and it no longer lets their life continue, for better choice of words. These things happen on a regular, right? But very interestingly and very recently, certain events have triggered riots in the UK. Mm. What I find interesting is that these riots were predicted by said conspiracy theorist people. Mm. And the chances of civil war was escalated to 40%. That was predicted way back when. So when you think, hang on a minute, and you've seen The Simpsons, right? The Simpsons predict certain term events, and you think, come on, are people telling us things and it's actually happening? What is going on? Why do people predict these things and they come true? Are people actually going, oh, we'll go with that prediction because it's been predicted?
I don't, as uncomfortable as the last little while has been for me, I don't see that civil war concept here. I can see people upset. I can see people upset and irritated, but they're upset and irritated about the same stuff that I'm upset and irritated by.
Yeah, so what's the bigger picture?
So, but what I mean is that the people that are prepared to do the far right fighting, they're not that. Those numbers aren't as big as you think.
What's far right?
Like, you know, the ones that just want to set fire to every they see. That's what I mean by far right.
Yeah, but what is far right?
As in really, really, really mental. On that side of the island.
So someone who's just not well.
Yeah, someone's got a few screws. Like, you know what? I do feel a little bit sad saying that, though. I'll tell you why. Because, don't get me wrong, I don't care what flavour you are. If you set fire to somebody's house or you stomp on someone's head, just go away for a bit.
Bad
Do you know what I
idea.
mean? Just go away.
Yeah.
Just go away. But I heard this guy on the radio, and he was, he said, yeah, I'm a far-right guy, and I do this, and I do believe all blacks and Asians. He said outright, blacks and Asians, F them off. Right? And all the radio wanted to do was make him seem like an idiot, which wasn't hard. He sounded like an idiot. But he was so earnest. Do you know what I mean? He was so sweet and dumb at the same time. Like, he was just like, but this is happening, and this is happening, and this is happening, and this is happening. You're like, yeah, but mate, that's not all brown people, right? And
Poorly
like,
educated.
of course he's poorly educated. Everybody that's doing this is pretty poorly educated. There might be one clever guy amongst them. The rest of them are, pretty poorly educated. But that's true of everyone that's causing trouble, no matter what. The ones that are causing trouble are pretty poorly educated. And that's the end of it, right? But
is that not the start of it?
Of course it is.
So who writes the education?
See, I know what you're trying. I know where you're going. I know what you're trying to say. You're saying this is a setup. You're saying we've been set up.
Yeah. Prove me wrong.
To what end?
So,
to what end are we being set up?
Okay, so the world is changing. We're in the middle of World War III. The world is changing. We are about to see world order power change from the dollar. That's it looks at this point near on inevitable. China has been ramping up their gold stockpiling with Russia. They've ramped up their partnerships with India, Brazil. They've built up BRICS nation, and it's to combat the dollar. That's happening. That's in our lifetime. So traditionally, and history repeats itself, when world order power changes, generally the current world order holder, if you want, goes to war, forces war, because it's the only way to prevent the change from happening. But this time around, you've got the dollar that's still strong, but it's weakening because BRICS is ramping up. But you've now got two big powers where they can't go to war with each other. You've literally split the world in two. That would be total disaster. If those two sides went at each other, and that just eradicated the world. So there's got to be a bigger play to all this. So we've noticed that the UK and the US are promoting the legal use of digital currency. So we're going to change from using the sterling or the dollar into a digital format, UK being CBDCs.
It's pretty inevitable.
It's inevitable.
Like,
But again,
why
a change...
would you do it any other way?
Well, a change
we're
we're seeing
not
different...
have a digital currency? So efficient.
So why has BRICS gone to a gold-backed currency?
I have no idea.
Because that then, from what you're suggesting there, seems like a backward step. Now, quick question for you. How many of the rioters voted?
I don't know.
Be an interesting question to answer that, wouldn't it? Imagine if you could track that. Imagine, by giving everybody an iPad, for example, I know it's a off the top of the head kind of suggestion. But the reason I say it is because if you give everybody the power to have a voice, at the first, goes back to the prison effect, doesn't it? You might have stupid people making stupid accusations, but it's because they're poorly educated. So if you play out a few scenarios and say, hey, if your issue is immigration, and these are potential ways of dealing with the immigration, pick one that suits you, for example. However, before you do, look at all the potential scenario outcomes. So before you pick one, just bear in mind the consequences that can happen off the back of it. I think initially we'd have a bit of carnage, like the prison effect. You'd have a few people that steal before they split. But eventually, you'd have harmony. Eventually. Because people will then realise immigration isn't necessarily a bad thing. If you provoke people long enough and hard enough, you'll convince them that there's a problem. So don't you think that's actually currently happening right now?
Mm-hmm.
Those people who are rioting, I bet you now that they are more culturally positively affected by said cultures than they are negatively.
Yeah.
Incidents that happen through, crime that had nothing to do with them, no direct, involvement within them, but yet the closer to home crime didn't make them riot. Something that happened hundreds of miles away from their hometown forced them to riot.
No, you're right.
So things are happening. So how many times do they have a Chinese? Right? Immigration? I don't see many Englishmen on the walk. A lot of these people are Chinese. How many Indians get ordered on a Friday, Saturday night? How many pizzerias dishing out pizza? An Italian dish. Immigration doesn't have to be viewed in the wrong lens. But it can be if you force it to be.
But here's the problem, right? The problem is immigration is an excellent example, actually, because it's easier to get people to vote for you if you polarize them, right? It's easier to get. So if you're more sensational on either side of the island, like if you're sensational pro-immigration or sensational anti-immigration, you're louder. The media will pick it up. They'll talk about it more. And it's an easy football to polarize people. It's an easy thing, political football, to kick around. The reality is from a financial point of view, there's a net benefit of immigration. The illegal immigration thing has a separate problem because I can't yet see the financial reality behind it. I don't know who gets paid for it. I don't understand the mathematics behind it.
I see this, right? If we get paid a hell of a lot from immigration in the UK.
Normal immigration, like legal immigration. So for every 10,000 people that come in, you're talking about $500 million added to the government's coffers.
Right.
So it equates to about 50,000 per immigrant on average.
So let's go on that narrative, right?
Yeah.
We've just done COVID 4 years back, right? COVID happened, we all got locked up kind of thing, and all of a sudden the UK print money like no tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We lose power order with premium bonds and things like that. So we go on the negative. We're now furthermore in debt. Where's that money coming from? Right? That's a question none of us can answer because we're not going to work 3-4 times the hard because it's just impossible, right? So the nation is in debt. What we're going to do, tax everybody more. Well, our fault. So yes, the UK has to, as a business, it has to find more creative ways to earn more money. Mm-hmm. So if immigration has been a push, right, then I get it. So we're reducing that debt down. But they must have a window of opportunity to push it hard, get as much of those immigrants in, to get as much money in through the door, to then hard and fast shut down before the world goes into, or the UK goes into civil war. So if they've had a 2-year window to go bang, 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 get them all in quick, then I get it. Now,
is that it?
Right, so stay with me. Is that one thing? Maybe, maybe not.
I mean, it's a good point.
But how do you
But illegal immigration doesn't work like that, though.
No, illegal. Why are all these other countries, like France, allowing these to come straight through us? We're welcoming, we open arms. There is a
France
big issue.
has got a massive immigrant community.
Yeah, and they're quite happy to feed them through to UK. So the way I look at the government, right, I do think it's broken in terms of system. You know, grey-haired, old-haired geezers trying to solve problems that they don't even see on the streets.
Mm-hmm.
I watched a guy the other day talk about the percentages. 4% of immigrants have been processed from January.
Of illegal immigrants?
From January to July. 4% of all the illegal immigrants. They've all been taken, put them into camps. 4%. That's it. In 6 months. Only 4%. Of those 4%, 85% have been given a positive, there you go, there's your residency. Positive, 85%. But there's still 96% left out of, they've not gone through the process yet. That's a hella number. They're not even accounted for. So they're in the country, not yet accounted for. They're not even been processed. So what is that number? Scary. Now, when you look at the government you look at a business, right? You have a marketing division, a sales division, you've got finance, HR, operations, right? We've all got these divisions, right? Well, the government are no different. And they have several divisions, but on much, much, much larger scales. And divisions have divisions for divisions that have divisions. So let's talk about immigration division. They've got an illegal immigration division and a legal immigration division. One division will be working much better than the other. These are normal people, right? And in these government jobs, there'll be normal people turn up 9 to 5. Some people will perform much better than others. So a division, depending on the camaraderie of that division, the culture of that team, one team may outperform the other team. So if you're in charge of the government and you're looking at all these divisions working, these are normal people doing normal jobs. But if some divisions are working better than others, how do you improve that division that's not working so well? Because one division could really, like a powerhouse, and be smashing it. But the other division could be super, super, super bad. And when you're reporting numbers, you're like, oh my goodness, that division's not doing so great over there, Mick. Julie, they're performing amazing. But they're ruining that division. So let's put that into a bit of practice, right? If you've got income tax division, an income tax division is doing okay. It's just doing its due. It's collecting income tax and it's feeding it into the system. But your benefits division are on fire. They are doing incredible. They are processing people's benefits like no tomorrow. But the benefit team have the benefit fraud, the benefit people giving benefits, and then there's also a team removing people from benefits. So there's many, many teams in the benefit division, right? So if the income tax division is quite streamlined and it's working okay, and the culture's steady and it's just people turning up and doing a job and getting off, but the benefit team, they are outstanding. They've got a great culture. These people work together all the time. They go out all together. They go and have Indians or they go and have Chinese all the time. They've got a really good team ethic, and they are working incredible and processing loads of things through. That benefit division is going to be more successful than, say, the income tax team. So they're processing more. So when they start reading the data at the back end, going, oh my God, we're paying more out in benefits than we are in income tax. How do we reverse that?
Improve the team.
It's too late, bro. It's already happening. The benefits are paying out more money in benefits than the country receives in income tax.
Is that true?
I have heard that is true.
Do you know what I mean? Someone said to me, well, now you know what it feels like to be Jewish. Back in the, I was like, yeah, but there's wisdom in that. There is wisdom in that. And I'm like, but I don't want to know what it feels like to be a Jew in the 30s. I don't want to know what slavery was like either. I don't want a punch in the nose feels like.
You can read a book.
How's that? I don't want to know what that feels like. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to know what it feels like to be stuck over there in Israel or Palestine. I don't want to know what it feels like. I want to be in England.
Just chilled.
I want it to be nice. I want it to be fluffy. Do you know what I mean? But coming back to the point about that, there's just a group of people that are just being influenced or mugged off by the media or whoever's poking the bear, right? If they're dumb and they're innocent and dumb, right? Why aren't we talking to them? Why aren't we saying, look, come here, stupid. Sit down. We don't like the same stuff you don't like.
So I think there's a bigger picture being played. And this has nothing to do with ethnicity.
But what I'm saying is that if someone's playing us, if the media...
What do you mean if?
100%
we are.
But why are we just sitting there taking it? Why are we sitting there letting someone shake the jar? Why aren't we, as a community, going out there and going, no, you can... We don't like what you're doing.
Elon Musk is...
I don't know about that, Geezer. Because
I don't know about
he thrives off conflict.
Fair
Because
play for him provoking.
But he was told.
Kia.
He was told, look, mate, people are disseminating false stuff, saying that there's acid attacks on Muslim women. The police were like, look, all right, we've heard these reports. It was in the Mirror, Daily Mirror said acid attack on Muslim women, right? And the police were like, no, it's not happened. It's a hoax. Like, the people are just riling stuff up. And they're like, you media, you have a responsibility. Because we want to, as a country, as a civilized country, the principle of free speech we'd like to protect. But we're in the middle of a bit of a kerfuffle. Would you mind curbing the stuff that's obvious gobshite?
Yeah.
Right? Like, if it can't be fact-checked or is fact-checked to be proven wrong, just while we're in the middle of a fire, could you not add more fire to it? And Elon Musk's like, no, screw you. You're like, mate, you've got a lot of brain in there, and I know you're trying to make a point, but could you please, you know what I mean? And
no, but he's doing the right thing there, I think. I would argue that Keir Starmer has got a better responsibility to ensure his wording is not provoking.